Everton are a weird club. Now, typically I wouldn't do this video, however, due to what's already happened in a matter of 2 games, I feel like it's only inevitable. Euston Station in London usually is a bleak place for anyone, but for Everton players, it absolutely is. After Everton lost 4-0 away to Tottenham Hotspur, they took the train from Euston back up to Liverpool. However, waiting at Euston was some very friendly Everton fans. Play the clip. Now, you can tell me down below in the comments, is grown men waiting for people to leave their workplace to go back home and abusing them, is that fair? Well, people will say, well, they're on a lot of money, it doesn't really matter. And I would say at the same time, that's still a load of nonsense. Fundamentally, as a football fan, I've always stayed true to the opinion that booing and antagonizing, and in this case, almost, verbally abusing your players will literally do nothing but make them want to play for you less. And I get it, right? Everton fans will say, oh yeah, but they're bad, so we don't want them to play for us anyway. But look, you have no money. So these are the players that you have to deal with. Neil Maupay in the footage, of course, got caught up in this and, of course, posted online saying, imagine another job where it's normalised to get abused like this, saying that they are trying their best. And in fairness, I don't think Everton players are trying to lose games of football. Quickly, if you want to comment down below your thoughts on Everton, especially if you're an Evertonian, that'd be great. And also like, subscribe, and Mozilla Designs for the best football prints. Of course, tons of Everton items too. Use code EFC for 15% off all items. Doesn't help also with Sean Dyche, straight after losing at home 3-0 to Brighton and Hove Albion. Sean Dyche saying, and I quote, "We have spoken about this before many times. Hero, 0-0, hero. This is quite an extreme place. It is either, yes, we're amazing, we won, or rubbish, you're all rubbish again." That kind of psychology en masse. Now, let's take a step back and have an honest conversation. Is Sean Dyche wrong? First game of the season, you're 3-0 down at home to Brighton, and by the time it's a full-time whistle, pretty much half the stadium are already empty. Yes, footballers are paid huge sums of money, and those wages are a reflection of the industry that they are literally in. And by the way, the thing I do need to highlight is that this reaction from the fans, this isn't just about these 2 games, or this 1 game. Obviously, there's a massive big picture, and it's fair to say that Everton is possibly the most, just stale club in the entirety of England right now, which sounds stupid considering they're building, this world-class upper echelon stadium that can put Everton into the new tier. However, because of this stadium, they've pretty much not got any money to really work with because of this, and that is the worst case scenario right now. And with an Evertonian, I spoke to a few fans, however, they're kind of feeling that you go into the new season and it's feeling like the same old. You're still playing Ashley Young as a left back. He's about 50 at this stage now. You bring in a young centre half in O'Brien that you feel like can just get straight in, as Branthwaite is currently out injured right now, and yet you're still starting the season with Michael Keane. And in terms of the rest of the attack, it is pretty much the same. The only bit of exciting talent is Ilman Ndiaye, who didn't even start, by the way, and midfielder Tim Iroreg Bunam. I just call him Tim. But long behold, your attack is still Jack Harrison, Doucouré, Dwight McNeil, and Calvert-Lewin. And in terms of a Premier League team, it's lacking a whole lot of athletic, dynamic pace threat. It just feels like the same thing all over again. And what is that? The Everton way, the Sean Dyche way. Be tight at the back, or try your best to, and be clinical at set pieces. And typically, what they had, what I thought they had, was also a decent press. Sean Dyche teams, as a Burnley fan of course, we always were very good in the press, and I thought Everton would be really good at that, but it feels like that's not really working right now. And look, 2 games into a season, you're 7-0 on aggregate in the first 2 games, not scored a single goal, only had 2 shots on target in those 2 games as well. Calvert-Lewin just kind of feels he's isolated and not really involved. The backup sort of Morpie ain't really liked by the fans, and Beto ain't really liked by the fans. Enquires is potentially the only threat that they have right now. And we are already reaching the 3rd game of the season as Bournemouth, and this is already feeling like a huge game. What about behind the scenes? Well, in terms of the ownership, and I'm going to fly through this because it is frankly kind of boring when I talk about this, but basically, Farhad Moshiri put a bunch of money in the club years ago without any sort of real plan or structure, and spunked about over half a billion into up the wall here. The 777 group came involved, and they fell apart, and it turned out to be a good thing, as it turned out to be a pretty big Ponzi scheme, so fair play for that. There was some other interest by another guy called Dan Frickin or something, but didn't work out, and I don't think it really matters. There is also some interest by a man that we know quite well, a man called John Textor, who we covered over our Lyon video, just under a year ago, and of course he's not precisely got a good track record either. He's looking at investing into Crystal Palace, and I mean, it's just not exactly the ideal solution here, but at this stage, it looks like they're getting desperate. And what about Sean Dyche? Well, this is kind of why I want Everton fans, if you're here, to just comment down below your thoughts on him, because it is massively wide-ranging in terms of how people think of him. Because yes, in one hand, Sean Dyche is a master of getting the absolute most out of the team that he has. Burnley and Everton, he's kind of molding Everton into the image of Burnley here, which I think for most Everton fans may be terrifying. However, you can't say that the players that he hasn't particularly been that fantastic, and he's not really been back to the market either. So you could say that he is in some way doing well. However, at the same time, last year he was kind of saved by an incredible run of games, midway through the campaign, for like a month and a half, where he just kept on winning games. On top of that, also the point deductions, and that adds on top of it as well. However, the bottom 3 in Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United were so bad that honestly I don't think it even really mattered. The main positive, which can maybe turn into a negative, is potentially Jared Branthwaite, who had a lot of interest in the market, that they could have maybe sold him for quite a lot of money, 50, 60 odd million pound, that can be used to reinvest into the squad. The main concern is there's no actual faith or trust that would actually be reinvested into the squad. And if it would be invested, would it be invested wisely? That is a massive question when you know that there is an actual proper top quality centre half right there that, to be fair, will only gain in value. As a football fan, what do you want, like fundamentally? Well, probably a bit of excitement, a bit of hope, an idea that you're going in the right direction. I don't think Everton have had that for the last 3 years, ever since the crazy Carlo Ancelotti era with James Rodriguez, with Charleston, and they were second place by Boxing Day. I cannot believe that actually happened. Everton don't have the money. They don't have the money to do anything. So we really are hitting a stage here that it looks really, really risky here for Everton to stay up. Because yes, they may not have another point deduction, we think. I hope not. I honestly, at this stage, I don't know. However, could it be fair to say that the teams that's gone up is stronger than the teams the last campaign? It's not hard to think so. It's not hard to do that anyway. Ipswich Town, of course, has that new buzz to them. Leicester City, of course, will have that experience, that edge of being here before. And Southampton Southampton, I don't really know what to really think about them, honestly. Sean Dyche, for me, does not give off the idea that he's happy. He's in a high-pressure job without the actual funds or resources to really change anything about it. They sold, of course, the likes of Amadou Onana to Aston Villa for a large sum of money, and just hasn't really been given the money to reinvest that into the team. And then, of course, having the fans leave early and all of that, it just feels like he's not happy there. And his language to come out in the first game of the season and to basically already, I guess, not pointing the fingers at the fans, but I guess to be very honest with them, which is something that you'd think Everton fans would want. However, it's a sticky one, really, to go with. And one thing I've seen critiqued a lot is that Sean Dyche is very well known for having a high intense, aggressive team with high fitness levels. The term Dyche fit
was a common phrase that was thrown around for Burnley for near a decade, and yet for some reason they look tired. So the way I'm looking at it, would it genuinely be good for Everton to just get relegated already? Like, that may sound mental, but maybe like a bit of a reset may actually be needed, because I feel like it is only a matter of time and it's not like it's getting better. Of course, the main issue is the money. Without the Premier League money, and they are already so much in debt, that will only spell disaster and likely administration. So that of course makes no sense. But if that wasn't the case, I think going down and having a reset similar to how Newcastle United or Aston Villa has in recent times could be beneficial to them. But obviously because of money, it's just not plausible. The thing is, of course, I played at Goodison in the summer for the charity event, and I felt such honour to do that. And it just sucks seeing them like this, man. Comment down below your thoughts on Everton and how do you think they'll do this season. And make sure to like, subscribe, and for all that is holy, if they lose to Bournemouth, it's not going to be a good day. So I'll see you guys next time.